Steph, how we doing?
We are good, Jared. How is it?
Oh, I'm good. I'm in Miami currently because I went to the Canes game this weekend, and guess what? Every time I go to the Canes game, they win,
Oh,
undefeated when I come to games.
well, I can't say the same for my Buckeyes. The last two games, well, when I was a reporter, they won every single game of the Horseshoe and they were undefeated that season. But when I've gone back since being a reporter, I've gone back for the big games. And they lost to Oregon and they lost to Michigan in the big games that I've been back to since I covered Ohio
Oh
State.
no, bad luck,
They
Steph.
didn't go to Penn State and look, they
they
beat Penn State.
Your team's hot. They're undefeated. They're setting up a big, like a showdown for the
Then
Michigan
why
versus
are
Ohio State game.
Michigan? Why did that move up? I was bummed about that. Ohio State took down another top 10 team and they didn't move up. They're still number three. Michigan's
Uh,
at
they just blew out their rival 49-0. You think they should go down? You think they should
no
not be number one?
Ohio State just didn't move up at all. Michigan's still up there, and I mean they haven't had a top opponent yet. They are blowing out their opponents, but it's
Ohio
probably
State,
the
in,
sign
in my
storm that's going on.
in my opinion, they lost to Notre Dame. That's just what I'm saying. All right, they really lost a game.
I will honestly admit I couldn't even watch that last drive. I was so nervous. You and I were talking about superstitions before we went live. I kept turning my back, like right when we were driving down the field. I turned my back and I just watched my friend's reaction. I was like, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. And they just kept picking up yards, and then they
Mhm.
made it all the way through. I think there was one other touchdown that was called back in that game though, but I
Yeah, it was a low
wasn't.
scoring game.
A
Nobody
little close
likes
for
Big
comfort.
Ten football games. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the chat. We're just waiting for a few more people to come here, and I'm talking stuff to Steph about her Ohio State Buckeyes, who are vastly overrated. In case you're wondering, my background is different because I'm in Miami. I'm in Miami like Will Smith jamming. Went to the Canes game. We're gonna start the show in like one more minute. I'm just gonna ask Steph how bad. All right, let's get into the show. We're just going to get into it right now, guys. Welcome to Cheat Sheet, everybody, your weekly stop before your lock. I'm your host, Jared Quay Campbell. I'll be piloting this ship, guys, but I'm not alone because I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, the lovely Stephanie Otey. Ot, are you good?
I am all good. I love that you started that last week. OT, all good. That was cute. I like that.
It's our new wave. It's our new wave. The show is going to be fun, guys. We got you for 45 minutes. We're going to give you some info on your squares you should be picking. And we also got a great guest, guys. We got Wyatt's World coming back on the show. Our first ever repeat guest. His first pick, well, he was great. He had some greened out love there. And so we bring him back to talk about the Bills who play tonight. If you guys aren't familiar with Wyatt's World, which you guys are, I see you in the chat. There you go, KBD_248. Wyatt's World is a huge Bills fan. He also has a huge following on YouTube and all the social medias. And he also does a thing called NFL Therapy, which we'll have some fun with them, guys. So we want to make sure you guys stick around for that. But before we get to that, we got to talk about last week more or less, guys. So, Steph, are you ready to do some more or less PrizePick style?
Let's get into it.
All right. First, more or less. Coaches cutting rugs. Steph, did you see this?
I love this.
This
Look
is
at
your
it.
coach cutting
Jay is
rugs.
becoming such a player's coach. The way he went off on Lou Holtz. Oh,
All right. This is
Hurricane.
my coach, all right? And the only difference between my team and your team cutting rug is my team has the cameraman actually dancing too. Because that's the energy we got in Miami.
The cameraman got a little excited and we got a little shaky here, but I will admit, at first I was like, I got to go with Ryan Day's moves, but I'll admit, you guys look pretty good in the locker room too.
Definitely. Chat, if you're in, you vote. Who has a better dance moves, Mario Cristobal or Ryan Day? Clearly, it's Cristobal, but let me know why you think that. It wasn't. There's a lot of dancing going on because we won, but Mario Cristobal really doesn't deserve to be dancing because we should be 5-1. We only have one loss, and that's against Notre Dame. We should not have lost to Georgia Tech. So Mario Cristobal, get into the dang time management room instead of dancing all day. All right,
I'm still
next,
over the
more.
way they took that last loss too. That was definitely Mario Cristobal.
Well, we won though. We beat Clemson because I was there. So we're not talking about losses. The Canes are back, baby. The U is back. Next, more or less, NFL trade deadline. Yes, the trade deadline is here. I don't have a video for this. I just want to communicate with you. Who do we hope gets traded, and why do we want this to be the most crazy trade deadline of all time? Like I'm hearing the Titans' whole team, where you say
I
the
know.
Titans'
I heard
whole
that
team
too. I
is
heard
up for
that
sale,
too.
like a yard sale. You could be like, I got a second round pick for Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins.
That's so desperate. Like that's so desperate. And like you look at this year's draft, it's who you want to go for. I don't love in season trades to begin with. I feel like you gotta like win with the team you started with. But I bet the Titans make a trade.
I just
I
think the
mean,
NBA. I think the NBA has been beating the NFL on trade deadlines. Like last year, Roquan was traded. Like there was a couple of splashes, but I just really want like a blockbuster trade. I want it to be like
like
two
McCaffrey was
quarterbacks.
a huge trade. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, which one's gonna be that blockbuster trade? Will it be another running back?
yeah.
Will it be Derrick Henry? I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been talking about that all off season.
Yeah, they're not trading him though. They just gave him all that money,
Right.
unless that was a 3D chess move. Obviously, the chat is saying that Derrick Henry needs to be on the Seahawks, but why? You got Kenneth Walker. Devontae Adams needs to dip out of Vegas. Yeah, let's be honest. I don't understand how people play in Vegas. Vegas is no fun after 3 days. If you're in Vegas longer than 3 days, you need to get out of there because it's no fun at all. They have
It
more and more
really just
people
makes me
there.
wonder, like how this season, if that trade didn't happen last or with Devonte Adams, I feel like the NFL would look so different. Would Aaron Rodgers have gone to the Jets? I mean, I feel like that trade really shook up the whole league.
I have a conspiracy theory that Josh
Ooh.
McDaniels is secretly going to other teams to destroy them from the inside and going back to the Patriots because the Raiders are terrible and it's McDaniels' work, and I'm gonna say that. The chat
Why
likes
do
Adams
the
to the Jets.
Patriots with the conspiracies? Like, do you remember the whole Brian Dable that he called like Belichick called the wrong Brian because he knew that Brady
Yeah,
wanted to become a part owner. It's always the Patriots
yeah,
that are part of these conspiracies.
yeah. They're terrible. I don't know. Patriots are cheaters, and I'm not a fan of them, so we won't do anymore. This is one I'm sure the chat will love. More or less Arthur Smith and B. John Robinson drama. I don't know if you're aware this last week, but B. John literally has video of him shaking hands with a girl in the stands, and then only plays 2 plays in the first half. And then
Right.
honestly, the chat's here because we would have rebooted him. PrizePicks would have rebooted him, but Arthur Smith gave him 1 carry, literally the last carry before the game-winning field goal. I don't know what's going on here. I think it might be something, but I just want to know more or less if this happens again. I feel like he's kind of stealing from B. John's Rookie of the Year campaign. I don't think he had a
Oh,
headache. That's just my own opinion as a Falcons
yeah,
fan.
yeah. Something is fishy. There was like a mysterious end that was never disclosed. I don't know. Something is going on. If you're not getting along with your coach, it's going to shake up the whole team. He is a star player. Offensive rookie of the
Look,
year is
look,
slipping away. The
look
talk
how happy.
CJ
Look how
Stroud.
happy he is in this video. This video does not show I have a headache. This video says I was late to practice. I shouldn't have been partying last night. That's
But
what
I
that video
will
says
say,
to me. I
guys
don't
give the best
know.
version of themselves when they're on camera. Like for the most part,
You
guys like turn it
yeah.
on for us.
Wait a minute. Who was the guy on the Bears or somebody who was just cursing out the camera because they were losing? I don't know if the Commanders, Jonathan Allen on the Commanders, was
Yeah.
cursing up a storm. So yeah. All right. And then my last more or less is more or less Stephon Diggs getting us. Stephon Diggs gets us. He scored a
I
touchdown. If you watch
love
his
this. I
If you
love
watch
this.
this play, he's fighting. He's fighting. Even though he lost this game, he's fighting for his in life, guys. And then after the game, he tweeted out saying, "Hey, look, he wants you to win your fantasy game. He wants you to green out on Prize Picks, and he's fighting for it. If he doesn't get it, he's upset. So that just makes me want to put him on every entry I have this weekend. Diggs is amazing. We need more
He's
players to
the
stand
NFL
up. This is a
favorite.
pioneer.
Like, move over Taylor Swift. There's a new favorite in the whole NFL, and it's Stephon Diggs. He is one of us. He's on our team. Like, he is literally playing for not just his fans, for everyone that plays him. I love this. I mean, it's
I
like giving
know.
back to like the guys that are like fueling like giving back to the fandom. I mean, it makes it more
There's
exciting
nothing
for all
worse.
of us too.
There's nothing worse than a player like, I don't care about your fantasy team. That's why I took a knee at the one instead of patting my stats for my Hall of Fame career. No, sir. Score a touchdown, all right? There we go. Somebody in the chat said Diggs got the Mamba mentality. That's right. You think
Yes.
Kobe stopped shooting a shot to win a game? No, Kobe's shooting a shot to help your fantasy squad.
Did you hear
Everybody
the
knows
story
never
about
take.
Kobe? There was a really good story about Kobe that's like in the same regard, and it was I forget how old he was when this story took place, but he would bring out the worst player on the team, make him meet with him early. Maybe it was high school, but like made him meet with him early, and they would play like first one to 100, and he would be blowing out this guy just to make that guy better. Like he's like, I'm not going to go easy on you. Like why would the star player take the weakest guy on the team and make him play to 100 with him? Like the guy had no shot and he never went easy on him. but it made the guy better. So he's giving us his all, and made him better. It obviously helps his teammates to go harder. I think it's just good all around. This is probably the one more or less that I'm the most more on. Like, give us more and more and more and more. Diggs.
Definitely.
Love him.
Kobe stories are goaded. Every Kobe story I've ever
Oh, I
heard, people be like,
know.
yeah, the one time Kobe came and mowed my lawn for me at 3 o'clock in the morning because he doesn't sleep. All right. That's enough of more or less for us because we got more things to come. Steph, we got to talk about these superlatives. We got week 8
We
superlatives,
got
Steph. Who's
superlatives.
our
Yes, we do.
let me set you up. Who's our best underdog for week 8?
There were a couple that I was considering, but I got to go with Tyson Badgett. I know this doesn't make Fields look great, but he's the only Division II quarterback in the NFL. He wins his first NFL game. He was an undrafted free agent out of Shepherd University, and people don't know this, but he was a prolific player in NCAA. He has a record where he has the all-time record for career touchdown passes for 159, and he went 26 and 4 in his final 2 years at Shepherd after guiding back-to-back state championships in high school. Though I get he didn't play, the most touted teams, but the guy wins and he's undefeated in the NFL. I mean, if you hear
And we're
some of
not
his post-game interviews too, like they asked if he wasn't going to be in the NFL, what was he going to do? And he said he would just get jacked doing CrossFit, and he's a
are we not
total
putting
jock. He's a total jock.
are we not putting that Buccaneers loss on him? I know Phil's got hurt. Are we not giving that loss to him? No, he got to take that L.
Okay, listen. He did well in this past game, and people just don't know his story back, like, of how he came into the league. And I think if you go undrafted, you take over a quarterback that's been failing. Like, they put the whole team onto Fields. You go in and step up. He's an underdog that is people want to root for him.
I'm rocking for you. I'm putting him on my entry. I'm rocking with you. I think, yeah, definitely. Okay. Uh, who else do we need to? Who's the prom queen for week 9? It's week 9, guys. Who's the prom queen? Prom king.
Hmm. Yeah, Mr. Popular for this week goes to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. He's the AFC Player of the Week. That's the 9th time he got it in his career. He chopped his MVP odds in half, or by a third. He's now 4th in the ranking. He also has the highest graded quarterback grade in the NFL with 95.9 passing grade. Through 7 weeks of the NFL this season, just look at some of these stats. He's number 2 in completion percentage with 71%. Number 3 in yards per attempt at 8.1. Number 3 in quarterback rating. He also is 4th in adjusted yards per attempt, 4th in net yards per attempt. I mean, he's just going off. Do you think he has a chance to make it to the MVP? Get a second one?
If they keep winning, I think you can't keep giving it to Mahomes. I would love for him to win it. I think, and what you missed is he also is now the 2nd highest rated player on Madden. I just found that out. Yeah,
Mm.
behind Mahomes. So, yeah. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. He's probably the funnest player to play with in Madden. Chat, if you think Lamar should win his MVP, second MVP, you guys let us know about that. He's the prom king. I love him. Obviously, he has a lot more targets this year. Their offense is great. I heard Mark Sanchez talking about how he's basically unstoppable. So I think that's great. And then, and lastly, Steph, who's the master of disguise for week 8? Who's the master of disguise?
I figured this one would be good for Halloween, the Master of Disguise. This goes to Josh Allen. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler, finished top 3 in the MVP voting in the 2 of the past 3 seasons. And actually, he has one of the top, he's completing a career high of 70.7% of his passes this season. He's got a great fantasy score too, but he's been struggling. In 7 weeks, he's at 7 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles, and he's only averaging 7.5 yards per pass attempt. And then you hear his interviews from this week. They were so weird. He's has this mentality of low positive. He's so back and forth on what he's saying with the team. He's like, yeah, maybe I should think less and just play football. And then he reverts back and goes, well, maybe I need to think more. All over the place in the course of like a few minutes of this interview. Then the reporters go and ask his teammates about him, and they're like, yeah, I think that he should probably stay locked in, not stop thinking. So this low positive mentality that's being pulled through the locker room is so odd. Now you see these clips of him just flopping, a highlight reel of him just flopping. It's not good. It's not going well for him. He's taken losses to Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. I mean, he just got paid. He's not playing like the quarterback that we've all seen in recent years.
Oh, a lot of people thought he would be MVP. He has some MVP tickets out there, I'm definitely sure. He became a villain. I don't know how. I know he's this disguise, right? That's the superlative we're going with. But like he was like one of the most liked quarterbacks. People like he's the future of the NFL to like he's a villain. He's literally non-likable. He throws
Yeah.
interceptions. He doesn't seem like a good teammate. He flops. I'm sorry, Josh Allen, but my favorite Josh Allen plays on the Jaguars now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I agree.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That was some fun superlatives there. But it's now time for my second favorite time doing this and favorite segment. It's time to call some flags on the Quay, Steph. I had a wild week looking for this stuff.
Oh,
Definitely a bunch of flags on the Quay, all right? My first flag on the Quay has to go to this Alabama security guard, all right? There's a footage of this guy basically murdering somebody on the field. I mean, I get it. His job is to make sure no one does that. But that guy has very much Vontez Burfict energy. You are not supposed to be hitting someone that's targeted penalties. That's a flag on the Quay. No one's even on the field, Steph. I got to give him 15 yards on that. Flag on the Quay. My next my next flag on the Quay is the rapper Blueface. Now, I'm not sure you guys know Blueface. He's popular in certain communities, not popular in every community. But this is him proposing to his now fiance at the SoFi Stadium this past week. Adorable story, but that's not why it's a flag on the Quay. Because immediately after this, he has strippers literally at the SoFi Stadium stripping as he makes it rain. Now, I've watched a game at the strip club. It's a fun experience mixing strippers and football. But him bringing those strippers to the stadium to a point where we can't even show the clips on this show. I got to give Blueface a 15-yard flagrant flag on the Quay. I'm sorry, but you can't do that, sir. And my last flag on the Quay is none other than Oregon Ducks mascot, his freaky self here. Here he is doing push-ups as this nice young lady wants to sit on and make it harder. He turns around like, oh, you want to sit down? Come sit down on my mascot, whatever that's there. And definitely that's inappropriate, sir. You're a mascot. Get a flag that's 15 yards flagrant. Flag on the Quay. How are we feeling about that, Steph?
Yeah, you asked me before we went on if I would be happy if someone proposed to me during a game. I feel like it can get weird. Like on the Megatron, you're making a show out of it. It doesn't seem personalized or anything. Like it's the bravado of it all. It does not seem sentimental. I mean, it really like commercializes the whole experience.
Would you like being proposed to at a football game or no?
It really depends on the context. Like I said, if my brother and his wife met at Ohio State grad school, then him and his groomsmen took pictures at Ohio Stadium. He didn't propose to her at a game, but yeah, I guess in the action, I wouldn't want that. And it only makes sense if they had that connection, like my brother and his wife. If it was just like a random game that the couple has no ties to, I think that's just weird. Like you're just doing it for the show and for everyone to notice, I guess.
All right. Well, alternatively, say he proposed at your perfect place, but afterwards he had strippers come on and made it rain on strippers. Would you like that either?
That's so bizarre. That is probably the weirdest flag on the Quay we've seen. How bizarre.
Well, it's Blueface, baby.
Yeah, that was just weird. That would make no sense to me.
All right, that was my favorite flags on the Quay, guys. We're gonna keep doing that segment, and we're gonna come back, guys, real soon, and we're gonna bring Wyatt's World back. You guys have been asking for him, so we're getting him here, but that won't be until this commercial break, guys. We'll see you right back at the end of this. All right, we're back. Oh, there you go. There you go, Bills Mafia. You look like Josh Allen actually right now, man. Draft day.
I need him to do a lot tonight for the sake of my mental health, so that's very important.
We got Wyatt's World, baby. What is that? What jersey is that? Is that just a traditional Wyatt's World jersey, or?
Oh, this is Von Biller, but I'm not too happy with him right now. I need him to do a lot tonight too. So as far as the jersey actually goes, a funny story. Before Von, like right when he signed here, I just took a gamble and had it custom made. His number could have been 58, but I don't know. I just got super lucky and he picked 40, so it's kind of cool too.
Wow. That's like we were just talking about superstitions. I feel like that's a superstition. You got to be a big fan of number 40 now. Do you have any other game day superstitions? Like I can't watch a game at a bar that I've lost my bets at. Like I'd have to go to a different place.
Game day superstition, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it. I wish I brought it in here. I got a Grape Davis t-shirt because they made like a meme of Gabe Davis because he did really good. So I like the shirt because it wasn't supposed to be anything, and I got it and wore it, and the Bills got killed after that. I will never wear it again. Completely it's on the shelf in there. Literally will not touch my skin again. So I mean, that's kind of a superstition.
You can wear it on game day. You can wear
No,
it
I wore it on prediction day though, so I just associated with everything. I was like, no, that thing is hell. So this summer I'll wear it, but I will not wear it now for the rest of the football season.
It's not a during season shirt. That's fair. That's fair.
I got you. As far as like, I'm just saying this as a Bills Mafia member. I mean, a lot of people had Super Bowl hopes going on. I don't know if you booked your ticket to Vegas already, but are you panicking? Are you guys? You guys might be like the Titans and sell your whole team at this trade deadline, huh?
Okay, no, we're gonna. So we're not gonna do that. I actually have a speculation that Henry might be on the move over here because, well, someone made a tweet that wasn't really credible, but we are healthy scratching Kiar Elam tonight. So something tells me he's gonna be on the move because I mean he's just not really been working out here. I know he's a first round pick last year, but something tells me that we're not gonna sit him and call up Josh Norman, for no reason. So I think he's gonna be gone, and it's who's gonna be in return. That's the question. I don't really want Derrick Henry. I'd rather have a linebacker, but at the same time, I'm not gonna ever say no to that. So, but no, I don't think we're selling. I'm sorry, what was that?
What are your thoughts on Josh Allen? I gave him a superlative as the master of disguise because he's just not playing like the quarterback we've seen in recent years. Do you think that's accurate?
No, I think he's being limited to what he can do. And I think tonight that I'm actually, when I do my takes later, that's a big part of one of the picks that I had. I think that we're going to see, Mr. King of Buffalo come back, and it's going to be 100-yard rushing night from him and everything. So I think it's completely on what he has been limited and told what to and not to do. I think a lot of it, they're trying to protect him because the guy doesn't care about his body. And I love that about him. And it also terrifies me, but he knows that right now, the team that we went out there the last 3 weeks, even though we beat the Giants, like that's not who we are. And I think he is just going to go ahead and do whatever it takes to prove that point on national television. Well, prime, sorry, but Thursday Night Football.
We'll talk about it, but I mean, right now.
What do you make of his think less just play mentality or the low positive? Like that was a really weird theme of the week for him in the locker room. This low positive mindset.
It's funny you say that. I haven't really grilled into him at all about it, but a big beef I had this year when I ranted about the Bills was actually on Von Miller, kind of for what you were just talking about. I mean, the last 3 weeks, the media goes up to him and they're expecting answers, and for him to just, it's good for that to happen. We're still fine. We're going to go out there and we're still going to play. It's like, okay, when? That can happen once every 3, 4 games maybe, but 3 games in a row, you can't just keep saying that. Like you got to do something. So the slow approach is kind of bugging me a little bit. I would like to see some aggression, but at the same time, it's hard for me to go at my own team. So I've got to try and settle in the best I can.
I'm down on Josh Allen, man. Right now, I think Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield are going to be doing a Spider-Man meme tonight. It's going to be which one is who? Who's who? No, I'm playing. I'm rubbing it in at this point.
If I could come through the screen right now, man, it would be just a mess over. I'm just kidding. My game plan against a guy is like your size. I think I'd hit you and pop right back through and then log off. So you wouldn't have to worry about that.
We had you on last week before the Vikings, or like week 3, and we had you before the Vikings game. Your background looked different. Did we remodel? You got a Blitz game back there now, or is it a different angle?
It's a different angle. I moved the whole desk over to the corner because I just wanted a different kind of backdrop. And then, the Blitz, that was something I talked about ever since I was in my old apartment, that I was eventually just going to get it. And I got it. And
shout out. One of the best games of all time. One of the best games of all time. Go.
I don't mean to like have it flexed, but that's where I wanted it, was in the backdrop because I think it just looks, aesthetically awesome too. So it's just like great. I want an NBA Jam one back there too, just, to complete it.
Yeah. I did hear your dad give a shout out, and he had a cameo in your video again this week, 4-1. Props to Pops. But his game of the week is actually a big one for Jared and I. Falcons and Titans. Jared representing the Falcons in Atlanta with his brother on the team. I'm in Nashville. Are you siding with your dad on that one? I mean, he's taking the Titans. It'd be great for me. Jared's going to be in town. It's going to be a big one for the cheat sheet. But who do you like in this one?
My head is on a blender. Is this brother Calais?
Yeah, my brother's Quay Campbell. Yeah.
Are you shitting me? Sorry.
We don't look anything alike. We're different heights. But
Are you serious?
Yeah, so if you were to jump through the screen, Calais is gonna come get you. That's what I'm
no,
saying.
you're cool. Cool guy, no beef, fam. We're cool. Who do I like in the matchup? I don't like. Who did I pick? I picked the Falcons because the Titans are expected to start Will Levis, and I think he's terrible. So that was my reasoning behind that.
One team's trading. One team is definitely trading their whole roster, and the other team's the leading NFC South squad right now. I'm not saying what to choose, but I'm just logically speaking, it feels like the Falcons are favored for a reason.
Yeah, I'm. You're gonna have to correct me. Is this? I'm sorry. I think you just said it. Where is this game at?
It's in Nashville.
It's in Nashville. Okay, so that because the Falcons, other than last week, they're usually lights out at home too. It seems like, but I always bag on him, and I always will. Not your brother, Desmond Ridder. I just think he is absolutely horrible, and I wait by the quarter for Heineke to come in there because Heineke is one of those guys that he'll light someone up. He did it with Terry, and he's probably done it before wherever he was. But I watched him mostly at Washington. And he would light up Kyle Pitts. He would light up Drake London. We get to see how good these people are, but they're not making that jump. And I'm nervous with him now with the whole Falcons connection talking too much. So I'm just going to kind of let it be.
We're playing 3D chess. We're just letting Ridder make everybody think we're terrible till he turns it on and we get hot at the last 8 games. But speaking of these picks, it's time for Let Them Cook. You ready to cook? Are we ready? Steph, you don't have the hat, but don't. It's there. Oh, snap. He has the hat. He bring the hat for Let Him Cook.
I'm cooking today.
There you go. He's ready to chef. All right. Well, I'm going to mention your picks, and you tell us why you like them. And as you guys' audience know, you guys decide if you think you love it or you don't. We'll see how far he goes while we're cooking. The first cook of the weekend is more than on Jared Goff's passing yards of 252.5. Why are we liking this? Why is this dish on the plate?
1, it's against Vegas. For 2, he's done it in 4 out of the 7 games. And for 3, sorry, I have notes here because I was going to try to defend this. He just did it in 2 of the last 3 weeks against elite secondaries like the Saints and the Falcons. So I think that's money.
I think that's solid. You made it right away. You sold me on that. Obviously, any team against Vegas and Jared Goff, and he has the same name as me, he's going to green out, guys. All right. Up next, you got Jalen Hurts, more than 1 touchdown. We don't have the graphic on here, but clearly you have the more on that. Why do you think Jalen Hurts gets a touchdown?
Do I need
tush
push?
Yeah.
I mean, it's every game. No matter what he hasn't even been an effective rusher this year, and he's gotten one in like every game. At one point or another, he's going to have a grown man shove him in the end zone. He's going to get a touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. I think they figured out how to stop it. I saw it in a high school game, but the way you stop the tush push is you have someone jump over the line and grab him by the shoulder pads and push him back. Fred Warner showed everybody. It's getting stopped, guys. Eagle fans, grease up the poles because you're not getting no more of that tush push. It's illegal. All right, up next, you got Adam Thielen, who's been surprising the league more than – is it 65.5 receiving yards? What I have, but it says 74 on the graphic. So we're going to go more than 74.5.
I think it was 64 this morning, but I'm still confident in 74 because Father Time here is not going to get slowed down unless an injury catches him first. As long as he's on the field, Bryce is going to light him up, man. Every game so far, I'm pretty sure that he's been healthy. He's just been absolutely dominant. And also, like I said, I'm not in fantasy this year, but pretty sure he's like fantasy receiver. Well, he was before the bye 5. Now he's probably still in the 10. So I think that's just as good as gold too. I know the Texans defense is better than it was last year, but it still seems like a lock.
They have a defensive coach. I mean, in all honesty, is there a little bit of biasness in this pick? I know you from Minnesota. You love Minnesota. This is clearly a Minnesota legend now on the Panthers. Is there any bias, or are you just doing this solely off Wyatt Swirl's energy and understanding of the game?
You're asking me if Adam Thielen was never a Viking, would I still have the confidence in this pick?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay. All right. He's cooking in. Let's keep cooking in. All right. Up next, you got one of your Vikings, Kirk Cousins, more than 1.5 passing TDs. Is this biased or is this?
This is incredibly biased, incredibly 100%. I do have logic behind it, though. They're on a hot streak right now. He is making a very silent MVP run right now at this point in the year. The next 6 games for the Vikings, don't do that. The next 6 games for the Vikings are going to be extremely winnable. So my theory in my head is this plays out perfectly is they're going to march right into Lambeau and give it to him. And he is going to have an absolute elite performance. And I think also, if we want to go way back statistically, in Lambeau, he dominates too. I'm fairly certain he does. So I'm very confident in that pick. I mean, you don't need Justin Jefferson, clearly. You got Addison, you got Hawkinson, you got KJ Osborne, 1 out of every 8 passes he can catch, but I'm confident that they can do it.
And Cam Akers is looking good.
I like that. I like that. We just saw him in prime time, taking down the favorites for the Super Bowl. I think this is a good one. I'm with you on.
But now we got a short week. But to quote my favorite movie, White, Coming to America, if you want to keep on the show, you got to stay off the drugs. Kirk Cousins is not winning MVP. He will not. All right, I'm telling you that, and it's factual. Okay, an alien came from the future and told me that Kirk Cousins never wins MVP in his career. It's a fact. All right.
If he does, you have to get trucked by your brother with absolutely no pads on.
If he wins MVP, I'll become a Vikings fan and get a tattoo of Kirk Cousins MVP. That's how confident I'm he's not getting MVP this year.
You got to tattoo Wyatt's World on it too, then.
All right, I'm so confident. Yes, make an out lavish thing. He's not going to get MVP. I'm there for it. You hear that, guys? I'll get a Wyatt's World Kirk Cousins MVP season tattoo if Kirk Cousins wins the MVP in 2023-2024.
That's a lock.
All right, and up next, now you got this is a GOAT. Well, he's the second GOAT. Justin Tucker's a GOAT. You got the more than 1.5 field goals on Young Ho Koo.
So is he playing with? Is he have injury right now? Because
No.
I'm okay. So I made the pick and Michael said something back about saying if he doesn't play, are you okay with whatever? And I said yeah. But my reasoning behind that is because they're playing the Titans, and no matter what, if they just lost, and I'm going to butcher his name, I still don't know how to say it. Biard, whatever. You know, their best safety, best defensive key player. They lost him. Vrabel is still going to play tough. It's in Tennessee, and then I obviously hate Desmond Ridder. So in my head, my only source of points coming from Atlanta, or main source of points, is going to be from Koo, and he's an elite kicker too. So I just think 2 field goals for him is nothing.
Well, as a Falcons fan, I can only tell you the only thing that scared me about this is Ridder turning the ball over in the red zone, which he's been doing like nonstop, and that's the only reason it's like, oh no, he should have just kicked a field goal. But yeah, I love that, and we got it. This is a 6 pick here. No, this is a 6 pick. We got Gardner Minshew, and we're taking the less than here, which life.
I have beef with this one. I need to hear your case for this one.
Less than Gardner Minshew, 219.5 passing yards. Let's see why you're cooking, man. What you putting this on the plate for?
This has nothing to really do with Gardner so much, but it has more to do with the Saints secondary and making every single quarterback's life miserable. And again, I know I didn't get to reevaluate it, but I think I did some digging, and they played Lawrence last week. He didn't hit that. Okay, if Lawrence isn't going to hit that, I don't think Minshew's going to hit that. And then the week before, I can't remember who they played, they didn't hit it either. So I don't think Gardner Minshew is going to go in there and hit 219. And I am completely doing that off the bias of quarterbacks that I think are better than him not being able to do it. And I'm very well aware this could just boom right in my face. And I wouldn't be mad because I love Gardner.
Okay, well, he's had more than his projection and since he became the starter. It's 3 for 3. And I get that the Saints do have a great secondary. Only 2 quarterbacks put up 300 on them. But Minshew had back-to-back 300 games, and one of those games was against the Browns, who have a historical defense right now. I mean, I get it.
Not anymore. Not anymore. They let up 38 points ago. Not anymore. They don't have a historical defense.
It's still, though, like... That's what I'm saying, though. Like, last week, I don't think anybody would have picked Minshew to have the more on whatever it was. And it came right back in their face.
The Jags have a great defense, and he put up 300 against them too.
So you could have better logic than me, and I'm not going to argue that. It's just I'm just going off of recency.
This one would be like a pass, but opposing quarterbacks have averaged a 57.8 completion percentage against the Saints. So things do align for him to go less. But I don't know.
Magic.
He shocked the Browns.
Yeah, he got Minshew magic. I don't know, something about him. He has very much Tyler Heineke energy where it's like, should he be doing what he's doing? No, but is he doing it? Yes. So, yeah. The chat seems they don't want you cooking that. It's like
Yeah,
someone who
that's
it's like
fair.
someone who added pickles onto a burger. Why ruin a perfectly good?
So
sandwich
I
with
was
pickles?
going all the way until the Minshew one.
Yeah, you were cooking, and
I'm
now
gonna.
everybody's like, "Hey, send this back to the chef."
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
be
is
having some words if
fun.
I'm right, and I'm gonna be hearing a lot if I'm wrong. But if I'm not the
There we
chef,
go.
then I'll be
There we
taking
go.
the hat
The,
off.
Out
the
last
Bill
time, guys.
split is
Screened
there.
out.
There we go. There we go. Well, that was a wonderful pick six, guys. If you guys like it, definitely. Wyatt is a genius. Obviously, his last episode, you can see how good he is with his picks. But it's time to keep moving, guys. It's time to go to the pick is right. This is our play on the Price is Right, Prize Picks version. I'm going to name a player, and you guys are going to guess their projection. And we're going to see what you like based on what you guess, and if you think that their projection is off. So today we're gonna do rushing yards for Swift, Tony Pollard, and Najee Harris. All right, we're gonna start with you, Mr. Wyatt. How much do you think DeAndre Swift is gonna get? What should his rushing projection be?
Can you tell me who he's facing real quick?
That's a good question. Why don't I know that right away? Steph, you got that. I know Steph got it. Hold on, I got it. Swift's facing the Commanders, who have a really good run stop defense.
63.
Who's here to go second?
63. All right.
Yes, that's his projection.
Saying 53. So I usually like to make a play after you if I think he's going to go more or less than 53.
63. 6-3.
Oh, you 63? Okay, I was going to say 50s. Okay, so then I'll say 55.
Ooh, all right. Well, surprisingly, Steph has been like undefeated in this, but not this time. DeAndre Swift's total is 64 and a half yards, meaning Ryan wins that one.
Yeah, you're close.
Yep. All right, we're going to keep it on moving. We got Tony Pollard. What do we think about Tony Pollard here, guys? He is facing
the Rams.
Cowboys.
I got it here.
Yeah, there we go.
50 in his past 3 games.
And he's not scoring touchdowns. I mean, I have him on my fantasy team. He's just Pollard getting the end zone. He's not doing it.
Am I going first this time again?
Yeah, we're gonna let you keep going first because
or I can go first if you need me to, but I like to.
No, I'm good. I might. I don't think you're gonna. I think we'll be far apart on this one. I'm gonna say they're gonna give him a higher one. I'm gonna say 74.
74?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's had less than 50 in his past 3 games, but I don't want to shift. Okay, so if you're saying 70, you're saying 75?
I'm saying I just think their projection will have them at 74. I just think that I haven't looked. I feel like that they're looking at the Rams, who aren't the best team right now, especially defensively. So I just thought maybe they would think he's going to have a better game, but they don't want to obviously say 100. So
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do 60s. I think less than 75, so I'll go 65, maybe 70.
65.
I'll do 67 and a half.
67 and a half. All right, we even the score up. Steph, the correct total was 63 and a half yards. Obviously, Wyatt was a little bit high on that. So but both of you guys seem to like the more on that. So yeah, you guys do with that information as you please. And finally, the tiebreaker, guys. And this one is going to be a difficult one. Najee Harris's rushing total. What should it be? What do you think it is?
That's a tough one. Yeah.
I've been guessing what I think the app has their.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Okay, yeah. Najee, I'm gonna guess they have. I'll go first on this one. I'm gonna guess they have him at about 31. Solid.
Okay. I was gonna have him at 35, but you going lower than me makes me second guess. But I'll stick to 35.
So 31 and 35 is the final answers?
Yes. This is for the deal breaker.
And it looks like Stephanie is undefeated still. 47 and a half yards.
That's the easiest less of all time. Nail it. He has no chance. He has concrete in his shoes.
Yeah, I was not expecting that number to be so high. Wow.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I was not going to guess anything more than 40.
Are you saying that's one of those free squares when it's like, do you think,
Yeah.
Do you think Jonathan Taylor will have more than a yard? It's a free square, that's what we're saying?
It's about there for me. It's about there. And they're facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, too, who I think are an elite team right now. I don't think he has a prayer to get that, but
47 and a half. That's really surprising. Wow.
Yeah. Well, Steph, you're undefeated still, but obviously what you guys projection give a big indication on where you think they'll be. So therefore, do with that as you want, chat. We're gonna keep this
Maybe I'm
going.
going to go first next week because going
We
second is a major layup.
Well, this is great. We were gonna do a Bills mean tweet thing because on Twitter there was a lot of people talking bad about the Bills. But then I was researching this morning. When you Google search Bills, people also talk about their personal bills. So it was kind of hard. I didn't want to do it. So we're gonna keep moving along to just Thursday night football. That's right, Buccaneers Bills. This would have been the game of the year in 2020. But right now it seems like two mid teams facing off on a mid Thursday, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the truth. Yeah.
As far as the game goes, you definitely like your boys to win, or is there favoritism? Like you hope they win, or do you think that your squad, they're gonna eat a W this game?
Confident, and I think that they're just a better team and they'll win. I think they are. That's not. There's no bias in that one. And again, I could be wrong. I thought it last week against the Patriots, but I think Josh is gonna go absolutely ballistic tonight, and we're gonna see a completely different offense. So.
Yeah, well, the Patriots, obviously, Bill Belichick was fighting for his legacy. Like, if he gets blown out that game, you're like, hey, stop riding Tom Brady's coattails, Bill Belichick. So I think he definitely performed. I agree with you. I mean, the Bucs on a short week with Baker Mayfield at quarterback going into Buffalo, arguably the hardest place to play. Right now, there's people breaking tables in there on a Thursday after a work. I don't think that energy is going to be good enough for Baker. So I'm with you there. I'm rocking with the Bills, too.
Mm-hmm.
Steph,
who you
Steph?
Like?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at projections, I was gonna say there's no Dawson Knox, which plays a factor, but I would say my favorite for the day is probably Stephon Diggs. One, I loved his tweet, and two, you just can't go wrong with him. So
yeah, how you feel? Why? How do you feel about the tweet? Stephon Diggs was like, "Hey, I get upset with myself when you don't green out on me." Like that's amazing. How you feel about that?
I like the energy, but at the end of the day, I don't care. I want the team to win, so that's what matters to a fan. But I think it's great that
he's gonna play. He's gonna play all day.
Well, yeah, and it makes
me more inclined to play him. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good to have the energy, but at the same time, don't think too much about it. Don't get upset. I hope he's not taking it too literal and getting upset, like like at the team because he's not making. I doubt he is, but it's just how I look at it as a fan. But it's funny you talk about Knox because I think Kincaid's going to have an enormous night too because Josh lit him up like 9 receptions last week or whatever. No Knox tonight. I mean, Kincaid I think is going to have a explosion as well.
There we
he's
go.
The play of the day. I mean, he was drafted as like a true pass catcher. He's the best receiver of all the tight ends in this draft class. I agree. I think he's going to have a big night.
All right. Well, since we're doing that, we're giving those things. Let's get into it. Let's get into Wyatt's World's Thursday night guest picks. I like these, man. Obviously, you did a combo here, man. I want you to describe these. You got Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs, two pretty much wide receiver ones. You got them getting more than 145 yards receiving combined. Why we like this? Obviously, one of them might get it on his own, right?
Yeah, that's literally it. That's literally the logic. One of those guys are going to get it on their own. And the way that the Bills secondary has been going, Mike Evans is due for a night that's going to be uncomfortably good for him. And, for me, like, I don't want to see it happen. But obviously I have the biased incentive in me to always pick Diggs. He's had 100 yards, I think 6 out of the 7 games that they've had this year. So you put those two together, it almost looks too easy. And that's what's scary about it. But at the same time, it's a lock.
I love it. I actually like that one. All right, we got Josh Allen, more than 2.5 passing, rushing, or receiving TDs. That's what it says, yards. TDs. Why are we liking Josh Allen? Is it a comeback revenge game, or should we take that as? I was thinking it was interceptions. I was like more than 2.5 interceptions. I mean, the way he's been playing.
Oh man, this guy. No, like I was describing. I think the games are done with him, though. And I think people like you are not going to be talking so much tomorrow because tonight he is going to do everything necessary to make sure that not only the Buffalo Bills win, but he is done being drug around. I think we're going to see rushing. I think we're going to see passing. Hell, we might see him catch a touchdown or two, like it says right there. Doubt it, but he's done it before. He did it against the Texans in the playoffs. Can happen.
I love it. What do you think? What are we taking? More or less than 3 flops?
Oh man. This guy.
I'm messing. I gotta have fun with you here, man. Come on.
I would say that he is going to get he's going to get roughed up 3 times and he's going to flop none. And then there's going to be no flags on it either. That's what's going to happen.
All right. There we go. Hot take.
Going on here.
To be completely fair with Jared, he does flop a lot. So I did not find that much offense.
He had a highlight reel of his flops on the show earlier.
No, he has some that even as a fan, I'm just like, oh. But then I'll hear the whistle and I'm like, oh.
Look at it.
So yeah. So slightly. No, he got really clocked there. Come on.
He's taking Juilliard and like acting classes, man. He literally he's in London acting classes.
That was rough. That'd be enough to kill an average person right there. What are you doing? This is not flops. This is getting hit by trains.
I'm really more impressed about the landing. Like he throws his head back, but it doesn't hit the ground first. He lifts it back up right before he hits the ground. It's really, solid work. He's putting a lot of hours in it. You can tell, 10,000 hours. All right, let's keep going to your Thursday night picks. You got Chris Godwin, more than 54.5 receiving yards. And so we got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and we're going against this team. So what makes you think about Chris Godwin getting more receiving yards?
Well, he's done that, and I think I have notes here again. His last 3 games, he has hit the more on that. Sorry about that. And 2 of them were against the Saints and the Falcons. The Falcons are the number 3 secondary right now. The Saints, we already know theirs is really good. And for a third option onto this, let's say hypothetically, and this would kind of dig into the Diggs-Evans pick, although Diggs is going to catch 200, so that's automatically going to hit. If Evans is getting locked up, Baker's going to have to throw it somewhere. So no matter what, in my head, I think that one's as good as gold too. That's not like, to me, that was one I looked at and it was like eyebrow. Like I thought he would have had like a 70 yards or something, not 50.
Yeah, there we go. And then that obviously leads to the next one between Godwin and Mike Evans. We got more than 33.5 passing attempts for Baker Mayfield, which definitely that team loses if Baker throws that many passes. So you like the more there, I see.
Yeah, he throws 45 passes like it's a normal thing every week. Like I have no doubt in my mind he is going to throw 33.5. And if they're trailing in the game, which I hope they are, he's definitely going to be slinging it. And on top of that, their running back is horrid. So like he's just going to throw the ball, and that's all they're going to do. At least if you're asking me.
There we go. I ain't gonna lie. Last time you had some great picks of the Vikings game. This one, I'm agreeing with them all. I gave you a hard time, but honestly, I think Josh Allen throws 3 touchdowns. I hope he does because I like Stephon Diggs' end zone celebrations, and I have him on my fantasy team. So I'm with you, Steph. We like it. We hoping is he cooking on the Thursday night football too?
I'm stuck on Josh Allen. I do agree. Like it's his interviews from this week that really just threw me off. Like it was so confusing. So. Honestly, I just want to watch like the pregame, see where he's at on the field warming up to make an assessment of where his mind is at. He'd be a no play for me because he's just a wild card at this point. But
to be fair, though, I mean, he's been in Buffalo. I think this is his 5th season, 2018. Yeah. Time flies. But I've watched every game he's had. I've seen majority of the interviews he's had. I don't think once I've ever seen him get worked up. He's always just he's like Aaron Rodgers in a way, he's just very inside all the time. So I think no matter what he's feeling, you're not going to see, a screaming guy at a camera, a worked up guy, a guy that's finicky. I think you're just going to see what he always does, and that's nod his head, kind of like Von Miller, as much as we don't like it. But at the same time, maybe it's good to boil up that energy and then let it out on the field.
There we go.
Do you think he has a chip on his shoulder? Like there's a lot, obviously we talked about him being the master of disguise. It doesn't seem like he has it, but I always like a guy with a chip on his shoulder. But do you think he's got one?
I don't, and this is going to sound cliche, like I'm thinking like of a Santa Claus, feel-good story here, but I genuinely believe he cares more about the team winning than he does about his own self. Like I think, like I said tonight, he's going to make a name for himself so people kind of remember, but it's going to be in more of the spirit of getting that team back on pace too, that they've had 3 ugly offensive showcases in a row. He's without a doubt the spark that the offense is ignited by. So I think he's going to go off, but deep down, I don't think he has a chip about what people think about him. I think he cares more what people think about Buffalo.
There we go.
Okay, that helped make the sway. I think rising to the occasion, and I was wondering which game would he do it in. I think primetime TNF would be the one, but we didn't have this. We had this on the rundown, but we didn't ask you. Just a complete segue into Halloween coming up. I saw you tweet about Milk Duds, and we were going to ask you to do a Mount Rushmore of candy. I'm assuming Milk Duds are up there, but what are your top Halloween candies? And then we can do a Mount Suckmore of like candy corn and all the bad candy.
So your Mount Rushmore's top 4, right?
Yep.
Yep,
4.
top 4.
Okay, so we specifically, and I looked at the document and you guys just said it's Halloween candy, not just candy. And Halloween candy, sometimes things are a little different on Halloween. So my Mount Rushmore, if I go way back to my kid, the number one thing that if I got in my bag that I would freak out was Fun Dip. So that's automatically up there. It was an absolute mess. I get why my parents hated it, but the stick and the powder, it was just
the stick
absolute
was not
sugar
tasty,
rush.
The process to scoop. Reminds me of
It
like the
was-
baby pop.
Literally that, or pixie sticks. So those are up there. Milk Duds are up there. Gotta love the Milk Duds. Just it's
Milk Duds for Halloween candy?
Bro, you get them in the little boxes of 4 duds and you just pop it in your mouth and then it's just chocolate and
The
caramel.
other version is Rolos because they are not as like tarry on your teeth.
Rolos? That's dope. These are adult candies. These are not kid candies. If I got Milk Duds as a kid, I'm like, mad, sir, get better.
Oh, you're gonna love
Like,
you're gonna love my third one then, Jared.
What's your third one?
Almond Joy.
Almond Joy.
That was a flop. That was a Josh Allen flop.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I like the coconut.
I love an Almond Joy, but I think we'll all consensually agree on this one. I hope is the Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, that's
No.
They're the
Reese's
best
are terrible.
version of the Reese's.
What?
Cups.
What do you eat?
Reese's
is it?
are terrible. They
What do you
branded
eat?
well. Reese's
Have you
M&Ms.
ever had a
Reese's M&Ms get a pass.
Let me guess,
Reese's
you're a
Fast
Three
Food
Musketeer
is
guy,
out
aren't
there.
you?
Three Musketeers are trash, but Babe Ruth,
Okay.
on the other hand, I
Right,
found
that's
out about Babe Ruth later because they look too close. No, Snickers are like definitely up there. Nerds, like you need some sugar. You didn't have any sugar on your whole list.
Fun
man.
Dip. Fun Dip is a packet of sugar.
All right, yeah, Fun Dip. But other than that, it's a bunch of chocolate like old. He's like, what's the old candle? The old candy they got it, the like gold wrapper.
No,
Oh.
no.
That's the vibe you're
100
giving me.
You're acting like I'm saying peppermints or something. I'm not saying that kind of
you're
crazy.
giving me that vibe.
No.
Oh man, I hope you're not giving our handy this
Have
Halloween.
you ever had a Reese's Fast Break? It's like a Three Musketeers combined with a Reese's, and it's the greatest anyone had a Fast Break.
I think Three Musketeers are the devil. So I would
What
never
about
want
Milky
anything to
Way?
do with them.
With caramel, a Milky Way is great, especially the midnight kind.
Milky Ways? Mm-mm.
Milky Ways are good.
Okay, but
I'm starting.
Mount Suckmore. You gotta have Smarties, candy corn,
Popcorn
gumdrops.
balls.
As I got older, candy corns got better. It's an acquired taste like beer. Candy corn's not great as a kid. I'm feeling for some
You
candy
would
corn
eat it if
right
it was in
now.
front of you, but you're not gonna go buy it, and it's like for decor.
yeah.
Popcorn balls suck. I've always hated them. I don't know if anybody have you ever had one?
Popcorn ball, like with
They're sticky and they come in a bag and they're just gross. I don't know. I've always hated
those
them.
are like homemade.
No,
Those
I
are like
got
handmade.
I got them like you got them for like people would buy bags from Menards and just hand them out. They come in single wrappers and everything.
Welcome to Minnesota.
Nerds aren't great. I don't like
nerds
nerds.
are
Bowl
amazing.
nerds, bro.
All right. We can go all day with candy, guys, but we got a kickoff coming in like an hour, so we got to let the people get their entries in. Wyatt, man, we appreciate you coming on as always, man. I'm actually rooting for the Bills this time, so let's go have some fun. Hopefully Von Miller gets 2 sacks because you got his jersey on. Again, thank you for hanging out with us, man. Can't wait to have you back on for a third time after you green out on all your stuff, man. Take care and have a great time watching the game with no stress, all right?
Appreciate it, and I hope it is stress-free. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thank you, brother. All right, Steph, that's what we got there. That was a fun game. I'm kind of upset about your candy selection, so I'm not even going to wrap it with you because we're going to get off the phone. I got to talk to you on Monday about this because your candy selection is trash.
I feel like mine are generic, like very generic, but
You said Milky Way was good.
the chat's with me.
I want to clap. I want to clip that and we'll get there, guys. All right, before we go, guys, if you think Wyatt was cooking, you can take Wyatt's plays as your own on our promos tab. Head to the bottom of the app, pick promos, select Wyatt's World's Community Plays, and place entry. It's as easy as that, guys. I love this pick, so I might do the same thing. But yeah, Steph, we got a game to watch, and so you guys, thank you for tuning on, and we love to see you next week. This has been Cheat Sheet.
See ya.